Every year, we choose our graduate commencement speaker from the ranks of our illustrious alumni. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce this year's graduate commencement speaker, Wendy Waters. Wendy Williams Waters earned her master's degree in Liberal Studies Humanities from Utica College and is currently a secondary English journalism teacher on special assignment as an instructional coach in the Rome City School District. Her educational experiences at Utica College spanned nearly 30 years as she earned her bachelor's degree in public relations journalism in 1982, completed her secondary English teaching certification courses in 2001, and earned her master's degree in liberal studies in 2006. Combining her love for sports and public relations, Wendy accepted a full scholarship to be the Pioneer Sports Information Director as an undergraduate. She continued her work in journalism and sports for a Syracuse weekly newspaper, and later at Skidmore College as its Sports Information Director. Wendy moved back to her hometown of Rome to marry Stephen and raise their two children, Brad and Sarah. Her volunteer experiences in school, church, Rome Memorial Hospital, and other community organizations inspired her to become a teacher. She witnessed how literacy broadened opportunities for individuals and strengthened communities. Wendy believed the most positive way she could impact literacy was to become a teacher, and thus began the second round of her UC educational experiences. While working as a high school English and journalism teacher, Wendy earned her mandatory master's degree and became the first person to complete the MSLS program at UC. Her thesis, titled The Life and Writing of the First Welsh Novelist, Victorian Daniel Owen, as They Relate to National Identity and Nationalism in Wales, was a culmination of extensive primary source research that began in a tiny town in northern Wales, the hometown of Owen. That was the first stop on a 9-day research trip that traversed the sheep-dotted mountains and coastal villages of a country that struggled for a national identity during the Victorian era. Literature and literacy fueled Wales' nationalistic fire, and that research experience strengthened Wendy's understanding of the impact of literacy on individuals and society. In addition to supporting literacy strategies in classrooms as an instructional coach, Wendy continues her community involvement in support of literacy. She recently volunteered with the Literacy Coalition of Oneida Herkimer counties to unpack, sort, stamp, and distribute more than 30,000 books donated by Duffy Books in homes to local school children. She is also a certified Writing to Learn trainer for the Leadership and Learning Center, an ELA grades 6 through 8 ambassador for Madison Oneida BOCES, and owner of Delta Educational Services and SAT preparation business. Please help me welcome this year's graduate commencement speaker, Wendy Waters.
President Hutton and Provost Kirkpatrick, honored guests, faculty members, degree recipients, families, and friends. It is a tremendous honor to be here today and a privilege to speak to all of you who have earned your master's and doctoral degrees. Congratulations. All of the careers you have chosen positively impact people, communities, and our society. Your jobs matter. And the advanced degree that is conferred upon you today allows you to begin or to continue to do that important work. But in addition to the many ways that you help others in your professions, the experiences that you've enjoyed and endured while attaining your Utica College advanced degree enabled you to help people in ways that you have never imagined. You'll guide and support others as they tackle the nuances and requirements of taking online courses and earning online degrees. You'll serve as a motivation and an example for others as they try to successfully juggle work, family responsibilities. You'll inspire others to take risks, and you'll encourage others to go to school, work hard in school, and graduate from school. The literal and figurative journeys I traveled to attain my master's degree proved to be the most significant in enabling me to help others, and I'd like to share a bit about those journeys. My master's thesis, which you heard, the life and writing of the first Welsh novelist Victorian Daniel Owen as they relate to national identity and nationalism in Wales. Not exactly earth-shattering research in the advancement of mankind, but to this day, I am very proud of what I did. And just as you are proud of your culminating experiences and your requirements that have earned you your degrees. And I'm happy that I struggled and that I was frustrated while working on my thesis, because it was in those struggles that I actually learned the most. And it was overcoming those struggles and frustrations that allow me to help and to teach others. Like many of the students I have taught in my high school English classes, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do for my research. But unlike my students, no one was going to hand me a list of research topics from which to choose. Because I was earning a liberal studies humanities degree, I wanted to explore multiple content areas, but I wasn't sure how to narrow it down. I had developed a love for Victorian literature thanks to Dr. Scannell, so I tried to formulate a research question that combined Victorian literature with a social or historical issue. But I struggled developing a question that was actually worth answering. I was getting frustrated and became even more frustrated when I was closed out of a literature course that I really wanted to take. But our successes are often nudged by a little bit of luck. That closed literature course opened the door to another humanities class, a history course for which I would have never otherwise taken. It was titled Nationalism and National Identity in Europe Since the 1850s, and it sounded horrible. I reluctantly registered for it, and fortunately, it became the most significant course in the development of my research. The texts provided me with new lenses through which to view literacy and literature. Both literature and literacy played integral roles in the development and in some cases the demise of national identity and nationalism in European countries during the Victorian period's Industrial Revolution. My thesis ideas began to take shape. I enjoy reading Charles Dickens, and I'm proud of my Welsh ancestry. Dickens wrote extensively about the social ills during the Industrial Revolution that also infiltrated the Welsh coal mines. I initiated research to see if Dickens in any way influenced Wales and the Welsh people during the Victorian period, but what I found was definitely not what I was looking for. I kept coming across references to the Welsh Dickens. His name was Daniel Owen, the first Welsh novelist, and I knew I had to learn more about him. As I read his translated books and reviewed documents about Owen that had been tucked away in tiny Welsh bookstores and records offices, I became more fascinated by the man referred to as the Welsh Dickens. Owen was a tailor by trade and wrote essays and 4 major novels in his native Welsh language. His unassuming tailor shop in the northern Wales town of Mold in the county of Flintshire was frequented by British writers, noted clergymen, and political dignitaries, such as the future British Prime Minister David Lloyd George, who is, so far, the only British Prime Minister to have been Welsh and to have spoken English as a second language. The church provided the foundation for literacy, and Owen's tailor shop provided the venue for political discourse, nonconformist ideals, and all things Welsh. My hunch was that Owen's writing influenced nationalism and national identity in Wales during a tumultuous time in this tiny nation's history. And the only way for me to find out for sure was to travel to that unassuming tailor shop in northern Wales, and I did. With my husband by my side as driver, tech support, and research assistant, we ventured throughout Wales for 9 chilly November days while I conducted interviews and gathered the necessary research needed to support my thesis that Daniel Owen's work did impact nationalism and national identity in Wales during the Victorian period. Ultimately, I discovered that Owen's novels gained unprecedented popularity as they countered the negative portrayals of nonconformists and the Welsh working class found in English newspapers and in novels written by people like Charles Dickens. Owen's literary rebuttal to this English condescension ignited the Welsh nationalist spark. His novels, with their insight into the nonconformist chapel society, the rural town, and its characters, served as vehicles through which Welsh readers throughout the country could experience the camaraderie that is necessary to the development of nationalism and national identity. But the research also solidified what I had always known. Literacy matters. It matters in the development of individuals and in the development of cultures and nations. The trip to Wales also led to another discovery. At one point, while we were traversing the middle of Wales to take a respite from research in Lake Vyrnwy, we approached a fork in the road and quite literally didn't know which way to go. After about a mile and in the fading sunlight, it became clear that we had definitely taken the wrong road. The road quickly became nothing more than a one-way sheep path through a mountain pass that offered no guardrails and no assurances that there was actually a road on the other side. If another car approached, one of us was going to have to back down, and it wasn't going to be us. I was scared, but we had no choice but to press on. After we cleared the apex of the pass and were relieved to see that there actually was a road on the other side, our last obstacle was to dodge the sheep that impeded our progress to our future destination. The relief I experienced when we finally checked into the hotel that evening was quite similar to the relief I experienced after my thesis defense. I later realized that our precarious trip over the Welsh mountain pass served as a metaphor for my entire thesis experience at Utica College. Both journeys, characterized by uncertainty, fear, risk, perseverance, and finally reward, became the vehicles through which I could help others overcome their obstacles and achieve their goals. And it is your journeys that have led you to this day that will allow you to do the very same thing. In addition to helping others in ways you've never imagined, I'd like to respectfully challenge you to help others in ways that perhaps you've never considered. And that's by promoting reading and supporting literacy in your professions and in your communities. It requires several literacies for people to successfully negotiate their way through the complexities of the 21st century. Some of these literacies include computer literacy, financial, digital, media, technological, and health and medical literacies, just to name a few. It's vital for people to also be functionally literate, which means they are able to read, write, and comprehend text above a 5th grade level. Without these skills, successful navigation through society and upward social movement are challenging, if not impossible. According to literacypartners.org, 93 million American adults have basic or below basic literacy. 30 million are functionally illiterate. Illiteracy has tremendous consequences, but these consequences go well beyond the affected individual. They negatively impact families, communities, and our society, and they directly impact your professions. In addition to the devastating costs to the individual, low literacy and illiteracy take an enormous toll on the American economy. According to literacypartners.org and other sources, the annual tab for low adult literacy hits $80 billion in lost worker productivity and $225 billion in unemployment benefits, lost taxes, and crime. The national cost of low health literacy alone totals between $106 and $236 billion a year. Healthy People 2010, the nation's public health agenda, describes health literacy as the degree to which individuals have the capacity to obtain, process, and understand basic health information and services need to make appropriate decisions. Similar to our traditional understanding of literacy, health literacy incorporates a range of abilities, and they include the ability to write, comprehend, and analyze information, to decode instructions, symbols, charts, and diagrams, to weigh risks and benefits, and ultimately, to make decisions and take action. Alarmingly, the public health agenda notes that these skills are absent in more than half of the US population. These skills and strategies needed for adequate health literacy are essentially the same that are needed for other types of literacies I've mentioned. That means that about 50% of Americans may not have the ability to read, comprehend, and critically evaluate text that is associated with your professions. What can be done about it? To combat the many types of illiteracy, be proactive. Partner with your local libraries, schools, churches, colleges, literacy coalitions, and other community organizations to provide expertise and support for the literacies needed for successful, healthy 21st century citizens. Get involved with your professional organizations and their initiatives to improve illiteracy. And if there are new initiatives, please start them. Also, be mindful about the need for establishing support and programs for those whose first language is not English. Provide information to patients, clients, parents, families, and others that is easily understood. After my late mother experienced a stroke, she was sent home from rehab with a packet of instructions describing her daily exercises. I read through the packet a couple of times, and we were able to complete that regimen. However, according to adult literacy statistics, between 20 and 50% of patients would not have been able to read and comprehend that vital packet of information. In addition to supporting literacies associated with your professions, please consider promoting literacy efforts that help young children and their families. There is a voluminous amount of research delineating the vital importance of early literacy. Just giving a book to a child, or better yet, reading that book to that child, can change his or her life. We have children that arrive on their first day of kindergarten that don't know that a book is read from left to right. They don't know it because nobody has ever read them a book. They are so far behind before they even begin, and we all can do something to close that gap. Even though many homes have the latest technology, many homes don't have books. You can change that. Place buckets of children's books in your waiting rooms and places of business, and encourage people just to take them. Donate books to schools, rescue missions, churches, and other community organizations. Give books as holiday presents to needy children and their families. And finally, urge politicians to fund libraries and programs that support family literacy. We can either pay now or pay much more later. The individual and societal costs for illiteracy are much too significant to ignore. As I've stated, literacy matters. It matters to individuals, it matters to our professions, and it matters to society and to the development of cultures and nations. Please consider being a part of the solution to illiteracy. Prior to closing my remarks, I would like to thank the Utica College personnel who improved my literacy and positively influenced my graduate studies experience. They include my thesis advisor, Jim Scannell, for his expertise in patient guidance, John Johnson, Alan Bissett, and Larry Aronson for helping me negotiate my way through the brand new liberal studies program, Mary Ann Janda for honing my writing skills, and Lisa Orr for teaching me that thesis statements must be substantive, specific, and debatable. Thank you also to Dr. Halliday for offering me this incredibly memorable opportunity to speak with you today, and to Megan Wilson and Kim for making it happen. I'd also like to thank my husband, Stephen, who not only served as my co-pilot on our Welsh Odyssey, but who has been my constant support on all of our life's journeys over the past 30 years. And now in closing, you probably won't remember my name or my anecdotes, and you certainly won't remember the title to my thesis because I actually had to look it up for today. But there are a few things that I would like you to hold on to after we leave this unbelievably majestic theater. Embrace the opportunities to help others. Your sacrifices, your struggles, and your successes will motivate them and inspire them. Help people become competent in the literacies that are vital to your professions. Put books in children's hands and in their homes. And finally, savor your accomplishments. Proudly absorb your well-deserved accolades. Thank those who helped get you here, and celebrate with them like you have never celebrated before, because you absolutely deserve it. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and congratulations to all of you.
Wendy, thank you for those inspirational and informational words, and also for the example you set for all of us in the work you do in the community. We are so proud to call you an alumna of Utica College. Thank you again.